Hi, I'm June, and I wanted to talk today about non-duality, non-dual realization, classic Advaita Vedanta, and some of the misconceptions. So just consider that you can take a few moments to take a few deep breaths, and together we will try to relax into presence of the current moment as much as possible so that we're establishing a groundedness in awareness, which is in the present moment. Take a few deep breaths and just relax into this moment, relax into the spaciousness. Look around and notice all of the space in the room you're in, and as well as outside of this room that you're in. And let's consider the idea that duality is an illusion, that actually it's all one thing happening. And the dual nature of reality that we're seeing is simply an illusion. This can be confusing for a lot of people. And to be honest, I see a lot of people pursuing non-dual realization, thinking that this is going to shield them from the normal ups and downs of life. And so that's normal. It's definitely an instinct, a human instinct to avoid pain and pursue joy. And so the idea that if I could rest into a non-dual realization, I'm going to not be seeing the ups and downs of life. I'm not going to be experiencing the ups and downs of life anymore. In other words, there's an idea that once I realize non-dual awareness, everything is going to seem beautiful and non-dual, and I won't be subject to or aware of the ups and downs of life. So there can be a frustration that happens when we realize the ups and downs of life are going to continue to happen. So then what is non-dual realization then? If nothing really changes in terms of duality? Well, something does change, and that is your identification with the dual nature of reality. So your identification shifts from identifying with all of the fluctuations of life, the highs, the lows, the ups and downs. These do not stop happening, but gradually the identification starts relaxing. And this could be a direct shift that is permanent, or this could be a gradual shift. So when people come to me and they're frustrated because they had a shift, but it wasn't permanent, and now they're plunged back into pain, there's a lot of frustration and confusion about that. So I wanted to talk about this and dispel some common misunderstandings about it. So our human experience is all about being born, living a life, and dying. And there are laws that govern the dual reality of this. The awakened being recognizes this. The awakened being is not in denial about the fact that a body is born and a body dies. This is completely understood. Non-dual realization does not eliminate all of the ups and downs that are happening in this life. Non-dual realization changes our relationship with life. Non-dual realization doesn't change the outer world, it changes how you see it and how you relate to it. Take a few deep breaths and just relax in your chair, and let's just take a moment to really feel into your true nature. And keep in mind that we see and experience the world. The way that we see it and experience it is like an illusion. It's not the ultimate reality. There is something that is real, and that is infinite and unchanging, and basically the source of everything. This isn't a far off thing. This isn't something way out there and separate from us. It's right here, right now, in the world. So the world is kind of like a magic trick, and the real magic is the true nature, the infinite true nature. But it's not just out there, but it is in fact right here. It is us, and it is everything we see. So it's both. So let's just consider that when a person is completely identified with the dual nature, that they are basically swinging with the oscillations of life. They are being tossed around and completely engaged in the pain and the joy of life. This is life itself, being immersed in the vacillations of life. And then as the non-dual realization starts happening, and this can happen at any time, at any age, and for any reason. I know people that had these non-dual realizations and they weren't even practicing anything. They didn't even understand what it was. And plus, I know people that have been meditating every day for 20 years and still do not feel as if they've had a non-dual realization. So consider that what starts happening is you begin to notice the illusory nature of duality. And you do begin to notice how identified you are with that, how you're being tossed around from pleasure to pain, hot and cold, all the opposites are swinging around, and you are simply being thrown around with them. So that's could be one of the first realizations. And then the second realization would be the identification with non-duality, the identification with this plane of existence, which is not vacillating. It's pure awareness. It's pure consciousness. It has no agenda. It's not vacillating. And so as we get more and more grounded in this place, what starts happening is you'll notice that you're grounded in a non-dual place, and you can see the vacillations happening in the world, but you're not really identified with them. And then the next thing you know, you're identified with the duality and you're completely being tossed around again. And so there's a stage where you're oscillating. You're oscillating between your awareness is swinging from the identification with the manifestation of the world and of duality, and then you'll oscillate back to being immersed in this eternal emptiness. It's like an emptiness because it doesn't have an agenda. And then what starts happening gradually, so this would be normal to happen for years and years. Even if you're on a spiritual path and you're pursuing non-dual realization, it would be considered normal that you're oscillating. You're feeling grounded in non-dual awareness at times, and then at other times, you are totally identified with the vacillations of life and the ups and downs of life. And so it's either one or the other. However, there comes a point when you realize there's actually no oscillations happening anymore. For the most part, awareness is not swinging from the identification with the manifestation of the world with duality, um, to being immersed in a non-dual realization and emptiness. Because when we really, really look at it, we can see that they are actually one and the same. They're operating in tandem. This is the true realization of non-dual awareness, is that the non-dual reality is holding this dual nature. It's all in one. So I would suggest that you continue your practice and stick with it, but have realistic expectations. If you notice yourself getting frustrated because you are continuing to identify with the ups and downs of life, then there may be some more work that can be done. The tools that we have at Mindful Integration are great for that. I'll put a link below to a free mini course that can get you introduced to the tools that hundreds of people have used, and maybe it'll help you too. So please subscribe to our channel and give me a thumbs up and like this video. Thanks.